Okay. You are charged by criminal citation with disorderly conduct, and you are here today for your arraignment. Did you go over your arraignment form?
I did.
So the crime you're charged with is a misdemeanor offense. It carries a maximum penalty of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. As a defendant in this court, you have a right to an attorney, you have a right to trial, and a right to jury trial. If your case proceeded to trial, you have a right to hear and question witnesses that would testify against you and have witnesses testify in your defense. If your case went to trial and you were convicted, you have a right to appeal that conviction. Do you understand the rights you have in this court?
Yeah. Yes, I understand the rights I have in this court.
Okay. To the charge of disorderly conduct, do you plan to plead guilty or not guilty today?
I plead not guilty.
Not guilty? Okay. And you're indicating here that you'd like to represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you're eligible for a court-appointed attorney, we can review your financial status to see if you are eligible. Would you like me to consider that?
I don't want to discuss my financial situation in front of anybody at this time.
Okay, it would be on a form. It would be on a form that I would review in chambers.
Yeah, I don't feel like I need to involve anybody who wasn't involved in what happened.
And so if you're going to represent yourself, were you given a waiver of counsel form to fill out and complete?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. And how close are you to finishing that?
I am finished with this.
Okay. If you'll hand that to my clerk, she'll bring it back here and I can review it. Okay. Well, it looks like you've completed all the questions. And is this a knowing and intelligent decision that you want to proceed without an attorney?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, are you making a knowing and intelligent decision that you want to proceed without an attorney?
Sorry, I thought you said annoying. Yeah, I am making a knowledgeable choice in how I'm proceeding from here on.
All right. Well, you are allowed to represent yourself. And so the release conditions that I imposed are still in effect. You'll receive your next court date on your way out of court today. You'll sign for that. Make sure we have a good mailing address for you. And since you're representing yourself, we will provide you with our city attorney's contact information if you'd like to attempt to resolve this matter with the city.
Excellent. Yeah, I don't believe I'm able to contact or subpoena the Moose Lodge, so that would probably be the way that I would have to go about getting any discovery.
Okay, well, you're representing yourself, so we can't give you advice on how to go about obtaining information, but.
Well, the court has restricted me from contacting the Moose Lodge, and I would obviously be needing to subpoena people that were at that lodge in order to defend myself.
And there's nothing that says you can't issue subpoenas, but.
Okay.
Well, that concludes your arraignment today. Please pick up your paperwork on the way out of court, and we will see you back here in January.
Your Honor, may I say something since we're here?
Sure.
If he can still hear me, I'm the city attorney. I'm the prosecutor. If you're going to be representing yourself, I would ask you to get our number from Kay, the court clerk, and please give me a call because we need to discuss this case.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Mr. Rhodes, normally you're not present on arraignment days. Is there a matter that you're interested in today?
I believe there's a motion to modify or rescind a no contact order involving a Mr. Hatfield. I'm not sure how much use I'm going to be since I don't have a lot of information about it, but that's the reason I'm here.
Okay. I'll go ahead and call the matter of Tyler Hatfield. If Mr. Hatfield is present, please approach the podium. And you are Tyler Hatfield?
Yes,
Okay. Mr. Hatfield, it looks like you've gone over some paperwork today. You are charged with the crime of, looks like malicious mischief, 3rd degree. Your arraignment form says assault, 4th degree. So I just want to clarify, you are not charged with assault. You are charged with malicious mischief, 3rd degree, with an allegation of domestic violence. Do you understand the charge against you?
yes,
Did you hear me explain the rights to the gentleman before you that you have in court?
I did, yes.
Okay, do you need me to go back over those rights or do you understand those?
I understand it.
Okay. And how do you plead to the charge? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay, a plea of not guilty will be entered. And it looks like you are requesting to be considered for a court-appointed attorney. Is this an accurate statement of your financial status?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I do find you eligible for a public defender. You'll receive your attorney's contact information on your way out of court today when you sign for your court date. And it looks like there had been a motion filed by an Angela Moody, a motion to modify or rescind a protection order. Is Angela Moody present today?
Yes, she is, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Hatfield, if you would take a step to the side, we're going to let Miss Moody address her motion today. And Mr. Rhodes, did you receive a copy of this?
I have not, Your Honor.
Okay. And you are Angela Moody?
Yes,
Okay. Did you only file this motion with the court? You didn't file it on the prosecutor's office as well?
I filed it with Kay.
Okay. I'm gonna take a quick look over this.
Your Honor, I do have that. I was provided that by the court.
Okay. All right. I've read your motion. I also see confirmation here that you had a meeting with Advocate Carrie Hodge as well. Okay. And so is there anything in addition to what you filed that you'd like to say to the court?
That things might have got a little out of hand that night, but it was like he didn't do anything to hurt me or anything like that. He would never do that.
Okay, well, I've read through the report twice now, and it does appear to have been a pretty scary situation. I appreciate that you've taken steps for yourself here. However, I'm going to reserve ruling on this, because normally when a matter is this early in the stages, myself as a judge, and I know the prosecutor for sure likes to see some proactive steps taken by a defendant so we can be assured that we don't have a similar situation arising during the pendency of this matter. So I'm not making a ruling today. I'll reserve on that. And we can bring this motion again in January, and perhaps the court will have more information on Mr. Hatfield to make an intelligent decision, but I'm not prepared to do so right now. With the holidays coming up, I'm very conscious of how sensitive these cases can be. And so that's my decision, and we'll hear it again in January.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hatfield, you can approach again. All right. Well, I think we had appointed an attorney. You entered your plea of not guilty. We will set the case on for a pretrial conference in January. And you received a copy of the protection order, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do I need to go over that with you again, or do you understand everything contained in it?
I understand it. I just had one question. What kind of things would you be looking for me to do so that maybe we could resolve this in January?
That's a conversation you want to have with your attorney.
Yeah. All right.
I can't give you advice.
Gotcha.
So we will see you back in January. Make sure we have a good mailing address and phone number, especially so your attorney can get in touch with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I clarify one thing, and that's to
Sure.
confirm that pretrial conditions of release include the condition that there be no further law violations?
That is correct, Mr. Rhodes. And so in addition to obeying the protection order, you're not to have any new criminal violations of the law while this matter's pending.
Okay.
Okay. That concludes your case today. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to sign off with the court's permission.
You may. That's fine.
Thank you.
Mr. Duncanson is present, Your Honor.
Oh, Mr. Duncanson, what are you here on?
I'm here with Daniel Golke.
Golke. Is that an arraignment or what is that on?
Yes,
for?
he's on for an arraignment. I just filed my NOA earlier today.
Okay. And is it pronounced Golke?
Yes,
Okay. So Daniel Golke, you are here today for an arraignment. You're charged with the crime of violation of a no contact protection order. Mr. Duncanson, are you going to handle arraignment from this point?
Yes, so I've gone over all the rights and explained everything to my client. So at this time, we'd waive a formal reading of the rights and charges and just enter a plea of not guilty.
Okay. Plea of not guilty is entered on Mr. Golke's behalf. He has retained counsel to represent him. We received a notice of appearance that's on file with the court.
And I believe Mr. Golke bailed out, so I believe there's already pretrial releases on this as well.
That is correct. I signed an order setting release conditions back on November 27th. So all those release conditions remain in effect. And so now's the time to listen to your attorney and Does the January date work for you, Mr. Duncanson, or do you need this set out further?
The January date should be fine. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Mr. Golke, sign for your court date on your way out. And we will see you back in January.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next I have City versus Nicholas Tucker Jr.
Hello.
Hello, you are Nicholas Tucker?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Tucker, you are cited with a criminal charge of driving on a license suspended in the 3rd degree. That's a misdemeanor offense. It carries a maximum penalty of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Did you hear me explain the rights that you as a defendant have in this court?
Yeah.
Okay, do I need to go over those again?
No.
And what is your, how do you plead today? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Plea of not guilty is entered. And this is a true and accurate statement of your financial status.
Yes, sir.
All right, we will appoint the city's public defender to represent you. You were cited with a couple infractions too, so those matters will trail with the driving suspended case. So your attorney will probably be able to help you out with those as well.
Okay.
Okay. On your way out of the court, make sure we have a good mailing address as well as a good phone number for you. It looks like a prior address in Cosmopolis, we had mail returned back to us. So make sure we have a current address.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
That concludes your arraignment today. We'll see you here in January.
Thank you.
Okay, next I have Daryl Wakeman. Is Mr. Wakeman present? And you are Daryl Wakeman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Wakeman, you are here today for a formal arraignment. 2 charges are alleged against you. One is disorderly conduct. The other is resisting arrest, both of which are misdemeanor offenses and carry each a maximum penalty of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Do you understand all the rights you have in this court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is your plea today? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay. Okay, you did, I do have a couple questions here. You filled out a screening form for an attorney and you're eligible. You sure you don't want to talk to an attorney before you make a decision to plead guilty or not guilty?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You would like to talk to an attorney?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, for today's hearing, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty. And we'll appoint the city's public defender to represent you at no charge. And I had previously imposed release conditions. Do you need a copy of those release conditions or do you remember what those are?
I remember.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to set a pretrial hearing date with you and your attorney in January. Make sure that the court has a good mailing address and phone number for you. And you'll be signing for your court date on your way out of the courtroom today.
Thank you, sir.
And that concludes your arraignment today. Thank you. Okay, the court calls for Roberto DeMoro. How'd I do on your last name?
DeMauro.
DeMoro?
Yep.
Okay. Sir, you are here today charged with driving on a license suspended in the 3rd degree. That's a misdemeanor offense. It carries 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine as maximum penalties. Do you understand your rights in this court?
Yes.
Okay. Understanding those rights, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay. Like the gentleman before you, you did fill out a screening form to be considered for an attorney and you are eligible for one. Do you want to
No,
take?
I made a
take that?
mistake on that one.
Okay.
And I did take steps to get that license back because it
That
wasn't,
was gonna be my next question.
I just have to pay the fine when I get paid in 2 weeks. That $70 reinstated.
Okay, so in a couple weeks here, you will have a valid license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Because the resolution of your case will be very different if you come back here with a license.
Okay.
So I'm going to continue your arraignment and I'm going to set that to our next December court date. You think 2 or 3 weeks you'll be able to have that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll set this on our pretrial hearing date at the end of December. Our city attorney will also be present.
Okay.
And he can review your licensing status at that time. And he'll probably be able to chat with you and come up with a good resolution of the case.
Okay.
All right.
And
So
I have a speeding ticket on there too.
you do?
Is that all together?
Let me take a look and see if it was on here. Yes. So we'll put both matters on the infraction, the speeding ticket, as well as this case. We'll just do a quick reset to our December court date.
Okay.
And hopefully at that time, you'll come back in with your license.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Next, we have Liam Granis. And you are Liam Granis?
Yep,
Okay. You're charged with disorderly conduct. Did you review the paperwork you were given today?
yep,
You understand the charge against you?
yep.
And that is a misdemeanor offense. It can carry a maximum of 90 days in jail as well as a $1,000 fine. Do you need me to explain the rights you have in this court, or did you hear me explain
I
those
heard 'em.
already? Okay,
I heard him.
and you understand them?
Yep.
To the crime of disorderly conduct, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay. Plea of not guilty is entered. Okay, and so you're currently employed right now?
Yes,
Okay. And you're supporting one other person besides yourself?
No, just me.
Just you? Okay.
I might have read that wrong.
All right, well, you're right on the border. I'm going to, and you're asking for a public defender, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're right on the border, so I'm going to appoint our city public defender and impose a minimal fee of 250 for his defense. And so we're going to set your case on for a pretrial hearing in January. And the Winoochee Valley Road address is where you get your mail?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That concludes your arraignment today. You'll want to pick up your attorney's contact information, sign for your court date, and make sure you get that court date entered in your calendar. And we'll see you back here in January.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Court calls for Janelle Shelby.
Thank you, Your Honor, for resetting this.
And so have we taken care of your warrant yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, you're here before the court today charged with the crime of disorderly conduct. You've reviewed all the paperwork you were provided with today?
Today, yes.
Okay. You do have rights in this court. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one can be appointed to represent you at no cost. You have a right to a trial. If your case went to trial, you have a right to hear and question witnesses that would testify against you and also have witnesses testify in your defense. If convicted at trial, you have a right to appeal a conviction. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Okay. To the crime of disorderly conduct, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Non-guilty, sir.
Plea of not guilty is entered. And it looks like you're eligible for a public defender. We'll appoint Killian Duncanson, or wait, actually, we'll appoint Jeff Arnold to represent you because I believe our public defender may have a conflict for whatever reason. I have a note in my file.
Understand.
So
Thank you, Your Honor.
you're welcome. You'll sign for your January court date and you'll also be provided with your attorney's contact information. You've asked for an attorney, so make sure you utilize that person.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Thank you. This is all new. Thank you.
Okay, well, that concludes your case today. Thanks. And Madam Clerk, I see we have at least 4 people in the courtroom and I'm out of arraignment files with paperwork. Who do we have here?
Who are you? Cordell Dungan? Is that right? Control.
Where is that on the docket?
After the arraignments in the review.
Okay, I think I found it.
Mr. Duncan would like to address the court. On his judgment and sentence form, his jail time was converted for 40 hours of community service.
Mm-hmm.
However, since then, he's done a lot of time. He'd like to talk about maybe getting credit for time served.
Okay, the court calls for Cordell. Is it Dungan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What would you like to address with the court today?
So I was originally supposed to do 40 hours of community service. And then like 2 weeks later, I got locked up in county jail for a whole year to where I cannot do that community service. And so I had my mom call down to let you guys know to see if there was anything that we could work out to see if I could do it when I got out or if it could just be transferred over.
Okay. And so you are out, you have no further obligations?
Yeah, no, I'm out and everything. So
All right, would you like to attempt to complete your community service?
I can definitely complete the community service.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the 40 hours of community service imposed. I'll give you 120 days to try to
Okay.
complete that. You'll probably want to talk to my court clerk and get a community service form so your hours can be kept track of, because you'll need that to turn into the court.
Okay.
All right. And so we will set this for a review hearing 120 days from now and see where you're at with your community service.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And you are?
Christian Hall.
Trying to locate you on our docket. And you said Hall, Hall?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. All right, so you've requested a hearing to address the bench warrant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, file.
These two.
We have a bench warrant. Quash. I just have to get a few forms here, so. So it's been a while. Where have you been?
I've been taking care of other court dates and other court situations that I've been going through. I've also been doing treatment also.
I'm just trying to relocate the right warrant here. We cleared that one.
I think we quashed the warrant
Okay.
when this attorney called. And we didn't get a notice of appearance from the attorney, and he came in and requested the court date. He hasn't been arraigned yet. I don't think.
Okay. So Mr. Hall, you yourself requested the court date, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I think the stage that we're at, I believe we took care of the bench warrant. And you're here for an arraignment. You are charged with theft in the 3rd degree. That's a gross misdemeanor offense. Carries a maximum penalty of $5,000 and 364 days in jail. Did you hear me explain the rights that you have in this court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And it looks like you've completed some of your paperwork here. You've asked for a court-appointed attorney, so is it your intent to plead not guilty today?
Yes.
Okay. Plea of not guilty is entered. You did not fill out your screening form. Are you employed right now?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. How do you support yourself?
I go a clam digging to use my treaty rights, and I get some checks from our tribe.
Okay. On a monthly basis, what do you think the amount of support is that you receive?
I would say around 2,500.
All right. Well, at this time, I'm finding that you are eligible for a public defender. We'll appoint the city's public defender to represent you. And we're going to set a court date in January where you and your attorney will be here. So you'll need to sign for that court date and make contact with your attorney prior to your next hearing, not the day before, but a few weeks in advance, okay?
Okay.
All right. That concludes your case today. Please pick up the paperwork on your way out.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have 2 people left. Let's just have one of you step forward and give me your name and we'll call your case.
Mr. Long is on page 8, Your Honor.
All right.
And it's set for a mitigation hearing.
My name is Brian Troger.
Wrong page.
Brian Troger. Okay,
Yeah.
I see it here.
Page 9.
All right, Mr. Troger, you requested a mitigation hearing today. You were cited with the infraction of no valid operator's license with a valid ID. Did you come in today with a license?
Yes, and actually that day I provided the officer with my license, so. And I have paperwork showing that it was not suspended and it was good to go after the offense.
Okay. Well, the way the law reads, since you've come in with a license today, the court's required to dismiss the charge and impose a $75 administrative fee.
Okay.
Is that a fee you can pay today?
I could not. I actually don't have a job. I can try to get it, but I don't know how
Okay.
much time.
All right. Well, why don't you check in with the court clerk on your way out? And if you need to get on a short payment plan to pay that, we can do that for you.
Okay,
But thanks for taking care of business.
thank you.
All right, that concludes your case.
Oh, that's.
Then I have another infraction case, Lauren Long. Is Lauren Long present?
Yeah.
And you are Lauren Long?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, it looks like they allege to have got you in fail to yield to a pedestrian crosswalk. You've asked for a mitigated hearing. What would you like to tell the court today?
I was told that I could come in and make a deal so it wouldn't be on my record.
You have a good driving record.
Yes, sir, I do.
You want the opportunity to keep this off your record then?
Please, please.
All right. I'm gonna fill out some paperwork and we'll bring it up to you. It's called a finding of a deferred sentence. And so what the court does, given your lack of driving history, I'm going to allow you to defer your case for a 6-month period. You will be required to have no moving violations of law. During the 6 months, you'll need to pay the fine of $237. And at the end of the 6 months, if there are no new violations and your fine is paid, the ticket will be dismissed.
Thank you.
Okay? So allow me some time to draft that and then we'll bring it up front for you.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Oh,